morning, good afternoon, or good evening, as the case may be. I am Dr. Elizabeth Mwaniki from Kenyatta University, Digital School of Virtual and Open Learning. I am an educational psychologist by training, but at the Digital School, I'm in charge of teaching and quality assurance. In this short video, we will look at the status of Kenyatta University in terms of embedding inclusivity in digital learning content and pedagogical structures. With me, I have two of my colleagues to take us through this, and one of them is Dr. Rhoda Gitonga and Dr. Eric Masika, and they can introduce themselves.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. My name is Dr. Rhoda Gitonga. I'm in charge of content development at the Digital School, and my specialization is information systems management. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and hi everyone. My name is Dr. Eric Masika from Digital School, Kenyatta University. My area of specialization is physical chemistry and nanotechnology, and therefore in the School of Pure and Applied Science. Thank you.
So thank you, Rhoda and Eric. And today, as I've said, we want to share the status of Kenyatta University in terms of building content and pedagogical structures with inclusivity in mind. And to set us off, I'll request Rhoda to just give us the status of KU, what we have been able to do, and how that has gone a long way in promoting inclusivity in not just the content, the programs, but overall in digital learning at the university. Over to you, Rhoda.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'll start by saying that Kenyatta University is an institution and destination of so many students and learners, lecturers with special needs. We have over 200 students and so many lecturers with different disabilities, and KU has played a big role in ensuring that it has established a directorate of disability services. The establishment of Directorate of Disability Services and the development of disability policy, all those are initiatives that create an environment, a conducive environment for learners with disability to engage equally with all other learners within the university. The university has gone ahead also to provide infrastructure and specifically assistive facilities and adaptive technologies that the university has put in place to support learners with special needs. Some of the examples of these facilities include CCTV screen readers, softwares to read text for visually impaired students, printers which convert text to brailles, among other infrastructure. And maybe with that, I'll ask Eric to tell us the reasons as to why it's important to include inclusivity in digital learning.
Thank you, Rhoda, for the opportunity again. And I must say that inclusivity is such a key aspect in any curriculum. So you can imagine dealing with the world population actually puts about 15% of the world population have one form of disability or the other. So Kenyatta University as an institution, this is something that we've really embraced, and there are various reasons why we think that inclusivity will be a good thing to go for. One of the major things is providing an all-inclusive environment where it allows participants from all walks of life without having barriers that will prevent them from accessing education. We think about barriers in terms of environment, in terms of physical environment, inability to do a few things. These are things that we are looking at. So if you can remove these barriers to allow the students to join the curriculum, that's good. We also, this will allow learners to engage in curriculum in a very meaningful way. And this is something that we are looking for future leaders, people who can engage and change the system. And also, if you think about recognition of students' needs, individual needs is such a big aspect from psychologists. Probably my colleague Elizabeth, who's a psychologist, would be able to put it better. That individual needs is such a key thing in terms of provision of knowledge. The other thing when thinking about making leaders, learners value what they do, treating them on equal basis. And this is something that we think about and we hold dearly, that every child has an equal opportunity to education. And finally, I'm looking at a situation where we can embed this in curriculum for future generations, so that future generations can pass this to other generations, so one generation to the other, so that they actually accepted in a society. And I think this would be very good enough if we're able to help students achieve their dream. And at this point, I think it's good for us to maybe I request Elizabeth to just have a kind of what is it like in KU at the digital school.
Thank you, Eric and Rhoda. And indeed, as Eric has said, we have different types of learners, different categories of learners with various needs and different learning styles. And it is important in digital learning, as with all forms of learning, to take care of their needs, either by embedding inclusivity in the content or in the pedagogy. As Rhoda already stated, KU is home to about 200 students with special needs and several lecturers. Now, as part of her policy, Kenyatta University assumes, and rightly so, that every student and lecturer has the fundamental right to learn and to teach in a way that caters for their needs. Now, towards this end, the university has undertaken several interventions to promote inclusivity in its programs, in its content, as well as in its LMS, or the Learning Management System. With us today, we have one student, Elvis, who is postlingually deaf, meaning that he acquired deafness after he acquired language, and therefore he is able to talk about his experiences.
I'm a first year student in Kenyatta University. I'm undertaking a course in library and information science. I'm here to give my experience in online learning. So the experience has been great so far. So I'm going to start by talking about the positive impact of online learning. Online learning has enabled students with special needs to continue their studies despite the fact that they are at home. They can still continue learning. It has also created knowledge about different online platforms like Zoom, Duo, and Google Meet. You can use any of those online platforms for learning and communication. But despite the fact that we are still learning, online learning has some bit of challenges, like access to internet bundles is a major challenge, especially for students who come from poor backgrounds. They don't want to have the funds to access internet bundles, so there is a likelihood that they can miss their online classes. Another challenge is for special needs students, especially deaf students. Despite the fact that they have an interpreter, you cannot focus on the interpreter and make notes at the same time. So it can be quite a challenge, because you have to focus on the interpreter first, and then you have to go back and make notes. Another challenge is in my area we have poor internet connection. So then if you have an interpreter, sometimes the signs are not visible. So that can be a real challenge. Another challenge is when you are at home and you are doing online learning, you are disconnected from other students, so there is no interaction with your classmates. And like when you are physically in university, where you can interact with other students undertaking the same course, and you can share learning materials and knowledge. But despite all those challenges, KU has undertaken steps in improving the online learning experience for students with special needs. KU has provided an interpreter through the Office of People with Disabilities, and also provision of modules and notes has been made possible through the Directorate of Disabilities. Also, we have access to Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi here in university. Also, we have the use of closed captions during the online classes, where you can access captions and see what the lecturer is saying, and access to screen readers. Yeah, that has been my experience. So I would advise other institutions of higher learning to follow suit and copy what KU has been doing. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvis. And we also have a lecturer who is visually impaired. This is Dr. Lubna Mazurui, who will also tell us or share her experiences. She will also talk about the positive and the negative parts, as well as any hopes for further support. Over to you, Dr. Lubna.
Thank you, Dr. Mwaniki. My name is Lubna Mazrui, and I teach in the Department of Special Needs Education and the School of Education here at Kenyatta University. My experience in teaching using the digital platforms has been positive, largely positive. When we began, I'd never taught online. I'd never developed materials for students, and the university provides us with training on the development of blended learning modules. We were also trained on online assessment, and that facilitated my production of digital learning materials and assessment for students, and it has been a largely satisfactory experience. However, the challenges I've experienced have been with the LMS. The LMS, as many web pages globally, I would say it's a common experience worldwide, is not adapted for assistive technology use. So the support I would that would enable me to use the LMS independently without having to use my reader a lot is a redesign of the LMS in a way that it is adapted, and there are worldwide guidelines from the World Wide Web Consortium, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, that give a step-by-step approach, and I think that support would enable my experience in teaching online to become even more satisfactory. Otherwise, we've made good progress, and I enjoy online teaching, and that's the way to go. So I applaud the university for moving towards this direction, and as we go along, I think we'll get better and better. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Lubna Mazurui, and indeed it has been a journey. As a university, we are trying to do our level best to make sure that all the needs of the students are catered for. And the bottom line is that digital learning, and indeed all forms of learning, must be designed with inclusivity in mind if we have to educate all people. And with that, participants, we come to the end of our discussion on inclusivity. We will meet again in a live webinar in week 4, where again we'll share our experiences, we'll exchange ideas, and we'll learn more together. Thank you.